watching damn, these motherfuckers being fooled over here. I was watching Draymond Green podcast, and I'll try to kind of get the clip and put it before the video. I'd rather sit at the desk and do this one, but man, it's a hectic day right now. I didn't know the Lions was playing earlier than when they played, so I just checked that out. So I can cover that on my other channel. Check my other channel out, Motor City Sports Talk. So, and it's hot as hell. I had a lot of moving today to do. I had to get 2 new tires. Went to get one. He gave me a deal. That's one thing I like about going back to the hood. Went to get 1 tire. He gave me a deal on basically 2 used tires, but they had 95% tread. So he gave me a deal on them. I bought them. All right, fuck it. I got the money. So. But nonetheless. So we've been like, earlier when I was getting out, I wasn't doing videos, but I was like, shit, I feel like doing videos now while I'm out and about. But yeah, man, I sent this to Kobe, whatever, right? And I want to see what he think. And I'm gonna send it to Mike and Myron too. I'm gonna send that to them. And I just so happen, like when I get in the shower, or I could be cleaning up, I put something on, or when I'm walking the dog, when I'm recording, I put something on to listen to. You know, usually podcast wise. Sometimes I might listen to a movie or listen to a TV show. You know, sometimes you listen, you catch things that you don't catch when you're watching it. But oh my God, but no point in being impatient. So I was listening to their podcast, and you know, Draymond and Demarcus Cousins, 2 of the guys that's kind of seen as over emotional. So in the beginning, like the first 20 minutes, they get to talk about growing up, being raised by single mothers. Now, Demarcus Cousins said basically he know his father, but they ain't got a relationship. His father don't wish to have a relationship with him right now, and he hoped that changed. And they talked about how at that point of their life, how did it kind of feel, kind of being in the position without having a father, right? So Draymond told a unique story about his father or whatever. And the unique story that he told about his father was that, you know, his father was, he thought his father was his father up until he was 12 or 13, and it wasn't his father. He said, that wasn't my real father. And he said his son asked him about, you know, his father, whatever, and he really didn't know how to explain it to him. You know, he said he met both his fathers, you know, and he said he was kind of embarrassed at the point, kind of opened up. He kind of was embarrassed about going to school when everybody knew who his father was. And now knowing that's not his father, he was kind of embarrassed to say that. Now, I'll just say this. Probably his mother and his stepfather probably had a falling out, and it came out, oh, that's not your father, right? And he goes on to basically say that growing up, you know, now he's married to his wife, that he told his mom, it's some things that you know, that I watched you grow up and hold the house down and hold it down for us. And I watched you how you ran the house, and I go try to run my house that way, and I'm overstepping my boundaries with my wife. And me and my wife clash because I'm doing things in the house that I shouldn't have to be doing, that I shouldn't be doing. It should be up to the woman, but I watched you do everything, and that's how we kind of clash on how we run the house, how I run my house, right? And Demarcus Cousins talked about how, you know, him growing up without a father, he was born in Mobile, moved to Birmingham, he kept getting in trouble. His mother sent him to Mobile with her mother to try to get him out of trouble, because Birmingham a dangerous place. Shout out to the 205, spent a little time there. That's the dangerous place, you know. And that just lets you know that these mothers, we don't hold any woman accountable. Even though they're I hate to say this, they're trauma bonding together, but in a good way. They're bonding together over a common interest. Because you gotta understand, he said one day Demarcus Cousins told Draymond Green, he says, You are seen as passionate because the Golden State Warriors are winning. I'm seen as a problem and over emotional because we losing. And Draymond said he didn't agree with it until the Golden State Warriors started losing, and he went through what he went through this year, and now he says he's agreed with it. And they basically started bonding over not having a father in their life and the issues that their mother created. Their mother created these issues. Y'all do understand the mother chooses to open her legs. She chooses to have the baby or not to have the baby. She chooses to take a plan B or not take a plan B. She chooses who she lay with. And we just always like get them a way out. A lot of the women, you know, we blame the women today. Oh, these women today are... A lot of the grandmothers and great-grandmothers, they did the same thing. You know how many times I've heard people's stories say, like the brother, Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. I always use this story, and I don't like really mean to bring, like, try to, you know, disrespect nobody. But I've heard this story so many times of people where he said he needed some help. You know, his wife had just passed. You know, we all sorry to hear that. When he was younger, he was raising a son by himself. He needed to get a car or whatever, and he needed a co-signer at the time. His grandmother basically told him no. But we all know if that one uncle, that one cousin, that one grandson go to jail, she'll bond, she'll put the whole house up that your granddaddy fought his whole life to work for. She'll put that whole house up. You know, she'll put that whole house up for, to get him up out of there. You know, and it need to be said. I remember I had somebody to pass in my family, and my mother was like, well, that was their favorite son. They have favorites. And a lot of times, they in the families, they tend to want to help the people that need the most help. And they think people who seem to be fine and seem to be doing okay, you know, even though they work the hardest, they do the right thing, they try to stay on the right path, and don't nobody want to help them out. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody want to help them out. You doing the right thing, it's hard to get help. People see you struggling and working, but the people that do dumb shit, the people that don't keep a job in the family, the people that keep going to jail, and they keep bailing them out, keep helping them out. So our community, the black community, is backwards, but a lot of these women, they create these problems. And it need to be said. And they get a mothers a pass, the mothers get an ultimate pass. And you know, we talk about how the police handle women with kid cuffs. We talk about how you know, society handle women with kid cuffs. They can do whatever. And they don't get the full, you know, grunt of the blame. I mean, look at Tiffany Henyard in Dalton, Illinois. She don't get the full grunt of the blame. Look at Fannie Willis down in Atlanta. Ain't neither one of them locked up yet. And that was Kwame Kilpatrick, and that was a brother. Shit, you know, they'd be going to jail. So you kind of, you know, talk about how, you know, they talk about how white people get away with a lot. Right? You hear that. But also, a lot of women get away with a lot. And women from our community, they can do whatever they want to do. It's been stories about them sending us to the upper room and them getting slaps on the wrist. And at the end of the day, a lot of these dudes don't be holding their mothers accountable for what happened. Tupac's mother, you know, kept him away from his father because his father didn't want to be with her no more. It ain't like you leaving a great situation. A lot of these women be shitty women, bro. And this whole, you still a black queen, mama, even though you a crack fiend, mama. Like, no, you a fucking crackhead. You was a terrible fucking mother, and that need to be said. That need to be said. A lot of these mothers, not of this generation, but of the previous generation, were terrible fucking mothers, bro. They made terrible decisions, and they didn't take responsibility for their own actions. They didn't take responsibilities for their own decisions, and this is what you got. How many young guys who dealing with Demarcus Cousins, with Draymond Green dealing with right now? How many people dealing with that right now, and they ain't 6'9", 7 foot, can score a basketball? They out here dealing with women just like their mother and having bad results and don't understand why. Don't have therapy. Don't have nobody to lean on. Don't have nobody to love on. Can't find peace because of the situations their mother did, and he right. I seen the video, I forget, I sent this shit to Mike. I seen the video, and I sent it to a couple people, my nigga Latique, you know, shout out to Philly. And it was a Mexican woman asking her husband to clean up, and her mama like, no, you go watch TV. Oh, get the broom, we could be done fast. No, go watch. Like, that's the culture that we need to be in. But a lot of us who was raised by grandmothers and single mothers and women in general, instead of us learning how to fix a motor or fix a bathroom fan or fix a toilet, thank God for YouTube. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us know how to do everything around the house, from cook to prep food to cook, clean, wash, all that. So a lot of us, we just like, you know what, man? I can do this shit on my own. I don't need Tiffany, or I don't need Brianna, or I don't need Becky to cook and clean for me. I can do this shit my own. And a lot of women know they don't have nothing to offer. It's funny how a lot of these men now know how to cook, clean, and do things around the house, and these women don't know how to do it. A lot of these women were harder. This is a whole fiend out here, two crackheads out here. She, you know, a lot of us men know how to do housework. A lot of us men keep our houses clean more than women do. Keep their house clean. We better at housework than they are now. Let's keep it funky. A lot of these women don't know how to cook. A lot of these women don't know how to clean. A lot of these women are lazy. So when he say, me and my wife clash, I overstep my boundaries sometime in the house. Look here, man. I can just go ahead and clean this shit up myself and be done with it. I can go ahead and fold these clothes and wash these clothes and be done with it. You know? Oh, no, that ain't your place. You shouldn't be doing that. Or hey, if you want it done and I want it done when you want it done, you got to do it. So, you know, people don't understand single motherhood and destroyed children. So the mothers that you see out here right now, it is what it is. It's a product of how they was raised by their mothers. And a lot of these dudes is dealing with so much trauma and so much, you know, messed up stuff because you think this guy your father. He not your father. It ain't even your family. So even if you don't know, spiritually, your body, your genetics, they know that that's not my father or this not my family. And that's why a lot of dudes is confused. But nobody hold these women accountable. It's rare that you see a Simone Biles situation where she hold her mother accountable. It's rare that you see a situation with what's my man's name? Colin Kaepernick, where he said, I don't want nothing to do with my mother. Dudes usually always forget a mother. The mother sit there and they use the tears. They don't, and then you even hear with Lil Scrappy. Remember we talked about Lil Scrappy? Lil Scrappy mother. She flipped it on him. She fucked up and flipped it on him. He was in crack houses, messed up. She said, I did the best I could. And no, you didn't. If you're going to make shitty decisions, don't be a mother. Then they want to get all these different men to try to raise you and shit. But it's not the same as your father raising you. Let all these different dudes beat on you, punch on you, discipline you. Like, bro, this conversation is so deep, bro. This conversation is so deep. It can get so deep, this conversation, man. And that conversation that they was having, to me, man, it was so deep. Because a lot of dudes, we deal with a lot of stuff from them situations that they talked about. We deal with it. And ain't nobody there to help. Don't nobody care about it. The mothers don't take responsibility. I guarantee you Draymond found out who his father was once him and that mother and that man broke up. When was they gonna tell him? And now a lot of this generation of fathers saying, you know, I gotta be there, and they figuring it out because they didn't have a father. They just figuring that shit out. And notice these two of the most overly emotional NBA players. You know, for Draymond, when they win, it's called passion. When you know, Demarcus is called when he's emotional. He's a detriment. He's this and that. Why were they so over emotional? A man is gonna teach you how to temper your emotions because he's been through it. Older women end up how to, you know, they go with the flow. They do. They figure it out. But they can't teach that to a man. Older women do. Because I used to deal with a lot of older women. They do. They end up, at that point, when they done, they end up knowing how to keep a man, but it's too late. You know, they're like, gonna be who you gonna be with. Just come home to me, don't bring me nothing home. And most of that mindset, you get that from older women. I take care of you, ain't got to do nothing. And if they did shit like that from the beginning, they'll be married and in great positions. But you know what? It's a different conversation for a different day. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree. You can check me out on Patreon, X, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.